Hey, Nickie Brown here. No matter where you are and no matter what part of the world you are in, I hope that you are having a good day. So, I wanted to share my perspective on something that some people may disagree with, and that's fine. But if you consider that there's one source, right? Whether you call it the universe, God, Yahweh, Jehovah, energy, uh, Olodumare, Elohim, if you feel that there's a source, right, then we're all connected to that source, right? Which means we're all one because we're a part of the whole. We're just fractions of the whole. So that means we have a connection, right? And that connection means that essentially there's a relationship, there's a relation, right? So when you get together with somebody and you feel like you've never met them, but you have a connection to them, I feel like that connection is a continuation of something that may have happened in a past life, or that is connection showing you the wholeness of or the oneness of the source. And so a lot of times we feel like, oh, I don't want to do that with this person. I don't want to do this with that person. But they're probably a reflection of you, or some way, some shape, form, or fashion connected to you, even if they're not blood related, as society has us to believe. So if you get together with what you think is strangers, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, they're not really strangers. There's a connection. And if you get to know someone and talk to people, you'll usually discover that connection. Sometimes people don't want to take their time to do that because they'll immediately judge someone because they're quote unquote not the same. But our differences help us grow. Our differences help us learn. Our differences help us to evolve. And when I make connections with people, I like to share. Like, I'm a sharer, I'm a giver. With conditions, right? Because sometimes people will take kindness for weakness, thinking that you're just naive and gullible, when that may not be the case at all. So, um, once you let it be known that you're not, then people are surprised, depending on how that plays out. But anyhow, people have to do what they're comfortable doing, and I get that. And it's unfortunate that so many people have been hurt that they don't allow themselves to really feel or to just be and just to allow life to unfold as it naturally should. And when you're doing the opposite, when most people are not, people think it's strange and they wonder why. But then there are some people like, oh, that was a really kind gesture or a great thing that that person said or did. So it's different for everybody. But I just wanted to share that thought, and I was very careful about choosing my words as I do my best to be in most situations. But love one another. And I'm not saying, again, do what you're comfortable doing. So let's say, for example, you're not comfortable dating outside of your race. Don't, right? But that does not mean that you can't be friends with someone outside of your race, right? You have a right to have a preference. You have a right to choose what you think would work best for you. But again, Of course, someone would argue that, oh, you can't help who you love. But again, some people just don't feel comfortable doing so. And so, again, there's nothing wrong with that. If that is your preference, stick to your preference, and you don't have to be pressured by society to do something different. However, at the same time, again, you can be friends with someone. You can hang out with someone. You can learn from someone. You can even travel with someone. If, again, you feel comfortable doing that. And see what you learn. Just have an open mind. And, again, allow these things to just unfold naturally. So that is my lesson for today. Again, I wanted to choose the words wisely. And so I hope that I got my point across. And I'll just say this. One of the reasons I said that is because I wanted to have like a gathering with my new coworkers, right? And someone said to me, oh, you don't know those people well enough to buy them food, right? Or share food with them, right? The person just said, you don't know them people well enough. And she was joking, but it's all relevant. Then someone else said, well, why would you buy chicken and have a potluck for everybody and you don't even eat chicken? Like, why would you do that? Because it was not about me. It was more about the fellowship. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to fellowship. And so I did just that. But I just thought about, of course there were different nationalities in my training class. And I embraced it fully. But again, when you're different, when you have a different mindset, whether you're the same nationality or not, you will have people that turn your nose up to certain things or think that you should be a certain way. And I'm not saying that any of the people in my training class were like that. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying. What I am saying is that there will be people who will not be open to embracing the experience fully, whatever that means. And there will be people who will. And for those who do, it's a great opportunity. But for those who don't, they're just limiting themselves. And again, if we look at it as there's a source, and we're all connected to that source, which essentially means we're one. So how different are we really? A lot of us have more things in common than we do different. I learned this from a few different things. And one of the things was becoming a yogi or a yoga instructor. I learned this during my life coaching training. I learned this from Russell Simmons when he did an interview with Oprah Winfrey. Right? He referred to it as we're all a cup of God. So if you look at the ocean and you take a cup and you dip the cup in the water, that represents each one of us. That huge, massive water source, basically all the sources of water, all the oceans are basically connected. But society splits them up and calls it Atlantic, Indian, Pacific, whatever, right? But essentially it's all one water source. Again, so if you believe that there is one source and we all come from that source, that means we're all connected and we're all one. So we have something in common. even if we're not blood related. And those commonalities make us related. I hope that what I'm saying makes sense. As always, I love y'all, and I wish you all the best, and enjoy the rest of your day.